Let's take a look here just first at the favorable views of Donald Trump. We know that Donald Trump has historically been unpopular. But take a look now. After the Republican National Convention, in the ABC News Ipsos poll, he recorded his highest ever favorable rating at 40%. That's not a one-off. Take a look at the Quinnipiac University poll, 46%. That's the highest ever in that pollster. The fact is, Donald Trump is more popular now than he ever has been before. So yes, Democrats can make this switcheroo, but they're still going to have to beat Donald Trump, a Donald Trump who is stronger, Sarah, than he has ever been before.
It will be interesting to see how voters respond to all of this. Now, how is he doing relative to Harris, who did run at one point? What do those numbers look like?
Yeah, so let's take a look here, right? We've been focusing so much on how Harris was doing better than Biden in the polling, and that's true. If we take a look at the national average, what do we see? We see Donald Trump up by 1. That's a within the margin race, right? That's a close race. But remember, of course, in the national popular vote, Democrats tend to do better there than they've done in the Electoral College, at least when Donald Trump has been running for president. So last time around, when Joe Biden barely won in the Electoral College, he actually won the national popular vote by 4 points. So at this point, Donald Trump is running 5 points better. That's a 5 of some sort. 5 points better than he was 4 years ago against Joe Biden. So at this particular point, whether you look at the favorable ratings, whether you look at the horse race polling, we see that Donald Trump is doing significantly better than he was doing 4 years ago at this point. Kamala Harris is going to have to do better than this, of course, if she wants to win the popular vote, but more than that if she wants to win the Electoral College, where she'll likely have to outperform how she's done nationally, because the fact is, if you got to tie it in the national popular vote, that is probably not good enough if you're Kamala Harris and you want to win the election against Donald Trump.
Well, that was Harry Enton pouring some very, very cold water like this ocean behind me on the increasingly fledgling Kamala campaign that hasn't even got off the ground yet. But I don't know if it will even come close to something getting off the ground. I was just actually walking down the street here, listening to some, shall we say, old liberals. I'm in Maine, in Wells, Maine, and I just have to say, I'm listening to them try to convince them. So they were talking on a porch. I was walking by it, and they were just trying to convince themselves that Kamala was somehow a salvageable candidate. But they're watching CNN. This is what you just heard Harry Enton said. Just comes on the heels of what Steve Kornacki said at MSNBC the other day, and that is, they're both saying the same thing. When all is said and done, Trump is more popular than he has ever been, at the same time that Biden and Kamala are more unpopular than they've ever been. That's the calculus that they just can't escape right now. And of course, the media, they're being a bit two-faced at this point. They're a rock in a hard place. Let's be blunt. The one hand, they're just trying to pump as much energy and life into this fledgling campaign of Kamala's that they can possibly pump in there. But at the same time, they're fighting for their own survival. Any last vestiges of confidence and trust in the legacy media imploded after tens of millions of people saw just how bad Biden was at that debate, cognitively speaking. And they know the media have known that. They know the media have been in on that cover-up for years now. And so the media is just trying to do a mea culpa and provide as accurate reporting as they can, letting their fledgling Democrat audience know that Kamala really has no chance at this point.
First, gang, I do want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor. That's Fume Flavored Air. Gang, I'll be the first to admit that bad habits can be a struggle for anyone, myself included. And when I hear about a solution to solving a bad habit I know many people deal with, I can't wait to share it with you. And what if I told you that there was an enjoyable and fun alternative to one of the most prevalent bad habits in our society? Well, there is, and that's where Fume comes in. This new flavored air device is quickly becoming the fantastic alternative to those pesky pesky old choices. It's an award-winning flavored air device with exceptional flavor, and it's a guilt-free option with non-toxic flavors like orange vanilla or crisp mint. It's like having your own favorite herbal tea and knowing you can feel good about it. The best part about Fume is that it fills a void when you're trying to kick those nasty habits, and it's one more way that courageous conservatives can fight back against the left and their agenda to keep Americans down. So why not give Fume a try? They conduct third-party studies, have amazing quality control of their products, and they're developed with real doctors right here in the USA. Join the over 300,000 Fume users, and for a limited time, use my code Steve Turley to get your free Fume base when you order the Journey Pack. Head to tryfume.com and use code Steve Turley or scan the QR code on the screen. Get a free Fume base with any Journey Pack order. Trust me, gang, there's one swap you can feel great about. What's there to lose? Click on that link or scan the QR code right now.
You know, when all is said and done, Kamala is extremely unpopular in the battleground states where the white working class is inordinately represented. I don't know if you saw the latest polling, but Kamala now is in the mid-20s when it comes to the white working class. Now, if you're polling in the mid-20s among the white working class, you could kiss goodbye Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I mean, you could kiss it goodbye. We got a report from Scott Pressler the other day that he officially flipped Bucks County. Scott's an amazing Republican activist out there, voter registrant. And Bucks County, which is a suburb of Philadelphia, is now officially red. There are more Republicans registered there than Democrats. I think first time ever. So that's huge. And then Maricopa County, we're getting the same thing in Arizona. They've flipped a huge Republican advantage there. In fact, I believe when all said and done, we'll probably see about a 7 to 8% Republican advantage, registration advantage for Arizona going into November. So you could kiss goodbye Arizona, you could kiss goodbye Georgia, that's for sure, for Harris. And then what do you got left? You got Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. If you don't get Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, she's got to win every one of those states. If she doesn't, it's over. And now she's polling in the mid-20s with the key political constituency of those three states. I mean, there's just really, there's no way, I think, of breathing life into this candidacy. Again, they're going to try to do whatever they can to make this look like it's going to be a competitive race. But at this point, it's just a complete disaster for Kamala Harris. So we'll see how it plays out. But you could see that CNN today with Harry Enton. I played yesterday, Steve Kornacki of MSNBC. They're more and more coming out and saying there's no way around this. Trump is more popular than he's ever been, whereas Biden and Harris are more unpopular than they've ever been. Biden's the most unpopular president, the least popular president, I guess I should say, in 7 decades, where at the same time, Harris is the least popular vice president in modern polling history. And Trump hasn't even spent a dime attacking her yet. You know, the latest one now is they're basically saying, take a look at what she's been in charge of. Take a look at what Kamala Harris has been in charge of one thing this entire tenure of Biden. One thing only. What is it? Kamala Harris has been in charge of the southern border. One thing and one thing only. That's it. Kamala Harris has been in charge of one thing, the southern border. And what the Trump campaign is saying is, now imagine her in charge of everything. If you take the one thing she's been in charge of as your standard of evaluation for what a Kamala Harris administration would look like, if you take that one thing she's been in charge of and now apply it to everything, the mess at the southern border is the perfect metaphor, the mess she would make of the entire nation. I mean, Biden's already done it, but she would make it even worse. So Trump hasn't spent a dime yet in attacking her and her abysmal record and her deep, deep unpopularity, especially in the swing states, battleground states of Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. And when he starts doing that, especially when he starts saying, hey, take the one thing she's been in charge of and apply that to her being in charge of everything, we can be pretty sure her unpopularity is going to implode to record lows. Love you guys. God bless.